It's been a while since I made one of these. This would be my new motto for the beginning of these. I really appreciate those of you who gave feedback after the last one. I was asking during the Paris trip, or was expressing feeling self-conscious about how long Equip for Life Academy has taken to produce, longer than I hoped. And every single response I got from a lot of you all said the same thing. I basically said that we get it, that we understand that you guys are trying to make something really professional, and we'd rather the quality thing take longer than, sort of a short version of something. And so that was helpful. And I appreciate that. I'm happy to report that Equip for Life Academy is almost done. And as evidence of that, we just had a beta class finished testing the entire course. So I have worked more hours in the last 6 months on average per day than I have in my life, because we had, there were these hard deadlines. There was a teacher that needed these videos by a certain time every week. And there's just a lot to do to get these videos done. But we were able to get basically most of the work done. They got kind of like these nearly complete versions that just didn't have like all of the B-roll, all of the animated text elements that we're adding right now, and just kind of like the extra stuff that helps make it more professional. Also helps students who are watching it to better, take in the information sometimes by having, the more important things that we're saying or quoting on screen, and like all of that takes a while. So we are nearly there. It's so close that I am able to really pivot now away from having to spend basically every waking hour on Equip for Life Academy and kind of rebalancing my time. But it's almost there, and I would love to show you a clip from it. I wanted to make this video because I've been having some of my most fun meetings with our supporters that I've ever had in the last month. Some of you watching this, we've met recently, and part of what's been so fun is I've got some really fun things to show and talk about, and I wish that I could have that experience with every donor. There's one particular video, and I'm not getting there yet, but there's one particular video that is just so fun to watch with people that I wish that I could do that with every single one of you, especially those that are financially supporting us. And I intend to get a hold of all of you eventually, but it's not always easy to get people, and there's follow-ups, and there's only so much time to have meetings. So I'm kind of doing as many as I can. But also, sorry, I'm distracted by like a little spider thing on the table. Okay, working. So since I can't have these meetings with everyone, I wanted to talk about some of what I've been getting a chance to share with donors. And it's not the same, but it's a lot better than nothing. And for some of you, this is how you get your kind of behind the scenes information about what we're doing. Not everyone wants to read, letters in the mail. Not everyone is keeping track, with all the emails and everything. And so I just want to give you a peek behind the curtain at what's been going on, some results, and some really exciting news that we have going on for next year. So I want to show you a clip from Equip for Life Academy. Like, almost no one has seen anything from Equip for Life Academy. I'm going to show you part of a roleplay dialogue that we filmed. We filmed a bunch of roleplay dialogues for this thing. Actually, a lot of people don't know. When we made the first course, the Equip for Life course in 2016, our original intention was to film roleplay dialogues for all of these, because we knew even then, and we've only gotten more and more confirmation since then, that for some people learning this stuff, especially for the first time, it is so helpful to have examples where they can see someone who's done this a lot to kind of have a dialogue where they're putting a lot of these pieces together. That for a lot of people, like, they can learn all these like individual tools and arguments and ideas and things, but then putting them together, can be tricky. And there's just a lot of things that people end up kind of learning just by getting a chance to watch someone who's more seasoned. And we didn't get a chance to do that. We had 3 filming days in Fresno. We did not have any of our own equipment. So our hope was that we were going to film all the, talking to camera videos for the first 2 days, and that then on the 3rd day we would just improvise a whole bunch of these, scenes. And ultimately, unfortunately, we were going up until like literally at the end of the third day trying to get the bodily rights module done. And we just had a lot less experience doing this at the time. And so now we get a chance to do that. We've gone out on multiple days at different locations. There's a park in Washington, D.C., and there's a park here in Charlotte that we filmed most of these scenes in, most of them with Emily and Meredith. And they're really, really great. I want to show you one of these role plays that we filmed here in Charlotte. I'm just going to show you part of it. I'm going to show you like several minutes of it just to kind of give you a sense. And then afterwards, I'm going to share a little bit of like the behind the scenes and kind of explain just a little part of why this thing has taken so long to finish. So without further ado, here's Emily and Meredith.
Great. So do you mind if we just put abortion on the shelf for a little bit and think more broadly about human rights?
Well, sure, yeah.
Yeah, I think that it's really important that we kind of answer the question, what is it that gives us all an equal right to life? Because we've gotten that question wrong a lot in history. I don't know, for me, a lot of examples come to mind where people have been killed based on their religion or their race, right? Mm-hmm. Or even women not being treated equally under the law.
Totally,
right?
yeah.
So people have gotten this question wrong.
I think we're still getting it wrong.
We're still getting it wrong. Right. So I would really love to just hear your thoughts about this. So let's imagine we have this thing called the Equal Right to Life Club. Right? Okay. And so we have to figure out what grants you access to this club. It's not like things outside of this club have zero rights, right? But this club means that you should be protected equally under the law from violence.
Okay.
So if we think about some obvious cases, like you or I should be in the club, right?
Yeah.
We should be protected under the law from violence. Yeah. What about like all adult humans? Like there are definitely some adult humans out there that I am not a big fan of, that I don't love.
Yeah.
I still think they should be protected under the law from violence.
Yeah.
All innocent human persons.
I'm with you. Okay.
Sweet. What about newborns? Because there's totally some people out there, I don't think this is the majority, but there are some people who argue that newborns should not be in the Equal Right to Life Club.
They think it's like okay to kill newborns?
Yes. Again, not the majority view, but I just want to know where you are on this.
Oh, that's absurd. Okay. Like that's not me at all.
Okay, sweet. So newborns should be in the club, adult humans should be in the club. Great, on the same page. What about something a little bit more out there? Like, what about squirrels? Should squirrels be in the Equal Right to Life Club?
Well, I mean, I don't think that you should torture squirrels for fun or something, but I don't think that animals are the same as us. I think it's a little bit different.
Yeah. Nope, I'm on the same page with you there. Animal torture is wrong. We should treat animals well. But I think there's a difference between me and that goose over there, right? Clearly different things. If one of us dies,
it would be way worse if you died than if the goose died.
Although, if the goose came after me, I'm just saying, we would have a moment.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Doesn't that look good? That looks so much better than anything that we've ever filmed. I'm so proud of that. But that was a lot of work. And so just a couple of fun facts. Part of why this thing has taken a lot of time is the roleplay dialogues. The stuff in studio is a lot easier, and we have a lot of experience doing that, and it's just frankly more simple for lots of technical reasons. Filming at remote locations just introduces a lot of challenges. One of the challenges was that because of the time of year that we were filming these scenes at this park in Charlotte, in the background is the noise of about, I think they said the number was about 2.4 billion cicadas. So loud. The actual audio from that day that's from Emily and Meredith's microphones is almost unusable. If we just place that in there, trust me, our team has all heard the result. It's not great. It's not what you expect from a professional video, because when professionals film videos outside, they don't usually use any of the audio from outside. It's too much of a pain to get, good enough, clear enough audio with a bunch of stuff in the background. And so sometimes you're seeing stuff that's done live. Sometimes you're seeing scenes outside that are filmed, and then they do something called ADR afterwards, where they literally have the actor just say all the lines again in a microphone in the studio, and they sync it up. And so I had to learn a lot about noise reduction and how to get, cicadas and things and wind and things like that, as much as possible out of audio so you can hear the dialogue really clearly. And then, well, once you do that, then it doesn't seem normal. Now it sounds like two people outside having a really quiet, like no background conversation. So then you add all the sound effects back. So all of that, hopefully you felt kind of immersed in that scene. All of the wind, the birds, the geese, the cicadas, all of that was fake. I had to re-add and mix and try to make it sound natural. You just don't want it to be distracting. Audio is actually considered more important than good video. Like if you're going to try to make something professional, audio is even more important than video. Like it's not just about 4K resolution or something like that. Like audio is really a lot of people's real experience watching video. And so getting the audio so that you're not distracted by it sounding either unnatural or weird or unclear or just noisy, windy, rustling from clothes, hitting microphones, like all this stuff that I had to clean up. Fun fact, this one of the reasons that I like showing this clip is because of how close the geese got. So that was a completely unplanned thing. That was just like, we're filming. I'm looking through the camera and it's like I'm looking at these two Disney princesses talk while like wildlife is coming like really, close, probably hoping for some bread or something. So that was just kind of a fun thing. And I loved that Meredith sort of, improvised a way to kind of bring the geese into the conversation, and because I just made it more natural. That's the kind of thing that you would do with that. So that gives you a little sense of what we've got. We've got a ton more dialogues like that are filmed in parks like that are all finished. The studio videos are almost all finished. We're sort of in those final steps, which is really exciting for us. So now that this is almost done, part of what next year is going to be is marketing this thing. Is you don't want to spend, a year and a half making a course that not very many people use. I think this will be the most marketable course that we've ever made. We're going to be sending Emily to Catholic high school conferences with a nice booth that we're going to put together to show off this course, and she's going to get as many schools as she can doing these. Now, those conferences all cost money. They don't just have you come for free. And so we are raising funds for multiple reasons. There's multiple reasons why I would love for you to generously partner with us. And one of those things is for those conferences. There's going to be literally the number of conferences that I can send Emily on next year is going to be based on how much funding we have. Our statistics as far as like the other things that we've produced and done are sort of all over the map. There's a lot of them are up, but not all of them are up. This was really an investment year for us. Our team and our board, realized that this year is going to really have to be sort of an all hands on deck. Let's finish this massive, massive project so we can get it behind us and start getting it out there, and then doing a lot of other things to sort of continue to build how much influence that we have among pro-life people that are learning these arguments right now. And so we got to a point where we couldn't keep putting out podcasts at our normal schedule, or, the YouTube videos, things like Apologist Reacts or Quick Response, Talking Heck videos like that. I couldn't keep doing that at the same level and also get a Quit for Life Academy done this year once I started realizing how hard this was going to be. Like there were just problems that came up that we had never had to deal with before. So we couldn't predict. This was a lot of why this took longer than I expected. Is I could not have told you. I didn't have a crystal ball to be able to know just how many nightmares, how many technical nightmares were going to come up with this thing. I mean, we're talking about big original video files getting corrupted, like data, hard drives getting messed up, and having to figure out solutions to issues that we just had never had to figure out before. And so I'm really glad that not all of our stats are down. Our podcast stats are down. Like, of course, they would be, basically have to be. Our YouTube numbers are up. That's mainly because thanks to Emily just being really consistent, being able to film the videos that she's been making for TikTok, we've been putting the best of those on YouTube and on Instagram. So while on TikTok, our stats are down, which is kind of what you generally expect. The way TikTok works, they want a lot of people to become viral kind of early on, but then the algorithm, because the algorithm is favoring trying to make new people, unknown people viral, it's going to be harder and harder for a successful TikTok channel to keep on getting the same kinds of numbers that they get, in the first year. So our TikTok numbers were down. Our Instagram numbers are way, way up. These videos are doing better on Instagram than they're doing on TikTok now. And so Instagram has become one of the places where we're reaching the most people. And these videos, I'm so proud of what Emily did with these videos. This was really her baby. These videos where, and if you haven't seen them, go to our TikTok channel and see some of the videos where Emily is playing like 5 or 6 different characters and different, outfits and all talking to each other. She's doing it so well, and I'm so proud of her. Proud of Joshua for being able to get those onto YouTube and Instagram in the midst of all the work that he's also doing, helping get Equip for Life Academy done. That is the way that we've been able to get so much new content out this year, because sort of once we had this filmed, Emily didn't have to be doing the Equip for Life Academy stuff. She wasn't going to be video editing and stuff like that. We had done her part. So she was able to focus on making those videos while we all focused on getting this huge course done. Our speaking numbers are significantly up. We always love to see that. That's been a lot of Emily being out there speaking at lots and lots of groups. While I've done some speaking, but I've done less speaking and on purpose. I'm just accepting fewer offers or being more choosy about the offers that I accept because, especially this year, how valuable my time has been in the studio. I've been able to take my laptop with me and do some video editing and color grading on the road and stuff like that. It's just not as efficient. And so we've been really careful with my time. And so thanks to Emily being, younger and having a lot more energy than I do to be on the road a lot, has been on the road a lot, and we've got really great speaking numbers, and she's killing it. So that brings me to my literal favorite statistics that I've ever had a chance to report to our people. I only learned these, a month ago or so, and instantly I was like, okay, clearly this is huge. So our affiliate groups, as many of you know, a few years ago, we started affiliate groups. Some of them are on college campuses. There's some high school groups. There's some adult Right to Life chapter, like county chapters of Right to Life groups. There's Sunday school classes. There's Sidewalk counseling groups. I've got a couple of pro-life groups in Denmark, our friends in Denmark that we continue to work with. Lots of different kinds of groups. And it's this non-competitive thing. We kind of tell groups you can be affiliated with anyone else at the same time, dual affiliated. We don't care if you want to also work with other groups. We love that. It's fine. But you can be affiliated with us if you would like, all this, we give free training and, everyone gets free access to all the courses. And, maybe most importantly, getting one-on-one access with a trained mentor who has really good experience of getting clubs, not just trained, but out there having dialogues with pro-choice people, because that is in the end one of the main things that we care about. And one of the metrics that we want to measure carefully is how many significant interactions are we having with pro-choice people. We don't count conversions. We've never counted conversions to try to create a conversion rate, because that number is going to be so inaccurate, I think it's not even worth using. Not because of our ability to, track things, but because of the psychology of persuasion. Very few people change their minds about something significant in one day. It happens. We see it, at least once or twice every outreach, but you're seeing the few people who were, sort of the stars had to align. There's a lot of things that kind of have to happen for someone to be able to change their mind in one day like that. And so it does happen, but it doesn't matter how good you are at dialogue. You're not going to change most people's minds about a really important thing in one day. And when that happens, that's a big day for them, We also don't just track how many people said anything to us at a booth or something like that, because some of those interactions are really quick and just aren't going to probably result in very much. And so we just want to be really careful about what is it that we are reporting to donors, and how can we, not just that, but it's what would be an accurate way to measure growth, that the important stuff is happening. So for us, that's reaching pro-choice people. And by reach, we mean something very specific. Either a pro-choice person has gone to like an entire dang pro-life speech, not a movie night or something like that, but like they went to something substantive. Or more likely, it means that there was an interaction between a pro-life and a pro-choice person that went back and forth multiple times. So like pro-choice person says some stuff, and then pro-life person responds. And then the pro-choice person responds to that, and then the pro-life person responds to that. That is a minimum for a student to get to count that as a reach. And that back and forth, that 2 times each thing, that can take, multiple minutes. That can be in the 3 to 6, 7 minute range. So those are the things that we're counting. We know that those interactions are really valuable because when we train people with the right arguments and the right dialogue tips, then they're having lots of great little interactions with pro-choice people where there's those little pebbles in their shoes, as Greg Kokel has liked to talk about. You give them something to think about as they walk away. And sometimes these clubs are having multiple conversations with the same people over a long period of time. That's one of the reasons why it's so valuable for a club to be doing outreach, not just like once or twice a semester, but like often enough that they can start having these repeat conversations with people. So now that you know what we mean by those numbers, I am excited to report to you the growth. So in the first school year, we hit 527 of those connections. In the next school year, we were able to increase that all the way to 1,417. That's fantastic. But here's where it gets better. We are only halfway through our 3rd school year. And just in this first half of our 3rd school year, we have already doubled that number to 3,685. 3,685 conversations that our 38 clubs have had around America and Denmark in the last several months. This isn't happening anywhere else. I don't think that I can underline this enough or highlight this enough. I think we have unlocked the secret to helping clubs on campuses to be extremely effective when they go out and do outreach and getting them to do regular outreaches. There's so many stories that we are getting in from these student groups, from these conversations that are amazing, all of them. So another thing that we are raising funds for is to be able to pay more club coaches. Right now, outside of Emily and Joshua, who are on staff and are coaching some clubs, all of our other club coaches are volunteers, and they have been, and they've been super dedicated and amazing. But we want this thing to grow. We don't want just 38 clubs. We want lots and lots. I want hundreds, I want thousands of clubs that are able to be doing this. And so we're going to need a lot more coaches, and we want to be able to pay coaches a small stipend for the work that we require them to do. Like they get trained, and they've got requirements that they're held accountable to. And so we want to help pay them for their time, because we know that some of our best potential coaches out there could not do this on a completely volunteer basis. They don't have that kind of time. They're needing to get a job. They're in that mode at that point. They're young. They might be working multiple jobs. We want to be able to compensate them fairly for the work that we'll be doing. And so that's going to be another thing that we're raising funds for and making decisions next year based on how much funding comes in. Because, obviously we need to be sustainable, but we would love to bring on a bunch of new coaches and see the number of clubs grow from 38 to a lot more than 38. And let's see how high we can get that other number then, the number of pro-choice people reached. Let's get that from 3,685 to a lot more than that. So that's one thing. Now, that gets me to the thing that I am the most excited to show you, and what I really wish that I could watch with you right now, but I can't. So I don't want to spoil it. I hope that you have not been spoiled. I hope you are getting the chance to just watch this video, not knowing what it is. I'm not going to say anything to set it up. This is about a 3-minute video or so. I'm going to play you the full thing, and then I'm going to come on after, and I'll give you some concluding thoughts. So without further ado, check this out.
Hi, I'm Josh Brahm, president of Equal Rights Institute. We're turning 10 as an organization in 2024, and it is humbling how many pro-life advocates are already using our materials, not just in the US, but in other countries too. There's always been a big hurdle with that though, which is that we don't speak any other languages. Hay pocos materiales pro vida en otros idiomas en general, especialmente en apologética pro vida. Si enseñamos principalmente a hablantes de español consejos prácticos de diálogo y respuestas a preguntas filosóficas difíciles sobre el aborto, quiero que sea en su idioma. Le son actuel est un clone de ma voix générée par une IA, utilisable dans presque toutes les langues. C'est la version bêta, et la technologie utilisée va continuer à s'améliorer. 私たちはエミリガイガの声を復習する予定です。また、私たちの奨学金の新しいディレクターであるレベッカ・カルソンも今後の多くのビデオで特集される予定です。Wir haben bereits internationale Verbindungen, die unsere Schulungskurse nutzen könnten und würden, wenn die Videos in ihrer Landessprache væren. For eksempel, som mange af jer allerede ved, har vi et fantastisk forhold til pro-life-bevægelsen i Danmark. Jeg deltog i en intensiv træning der i 2018, og de anvendte det, jeg lærte dem til at forbedre deres rækkevidde betydeligt. Vi fortsætter med at arbejde med dem. Faktisk er 2 af vores tilknyttede grupper i Danmark. 连接丹麦和爱尔兰的亲生命运动所学到的主要观点之一是，平等权利研究所对亲生命辩护的方法，在对亲生命方法持敌对态度的国家中可能同样重要，甚至比在美国更重要。Onze dialoogaanpak is ontworpen voor pro-choice mensen. De elementen die onze stijl uniek maken, zijn precies de elementen die het meest behulpzaam zijn bij het spreken met iemand wiens cultuur abortus als een afgesloten kwestie beschouwt. Dat is niet eens de moeite waard om over te discussiëren. Apesar de terem se passado 14 anos desde que dei discursos em Trinidad, o líder do movimento pró-vida deles continua nos pedindo para reproduzir uma sessão do nosso curso durante a conferência anual. Il nostro approccio è ciò di cui i pro-life nelle culture ostili hanno bisogno. E per la prima volta, donatori come te possono renderlo possibile. Predstavte si, keby sme už neboli obmedzení počtom ľudí, ktorých môžeme osloviť podľa počtu jazykov, ktoré hovoríme. Dengan mencipta peralatan untuk Life Academy, saya meningkatkan kemahiran pasca pengeluaran saya dalam pelbagai cara tahun ini dan memberi perhatian kepada teknologi baru untuk pencipta video. Sebabnya kita berpeluang melompat pada peluang ini beberapa bulan selepas teknologi dilancarkan. 기술은 이미 여기에 있고 계속 개선 중이며 번역을 위해 자금이 필요합니다. 무료 제품이 아니기 때문에 전체 코스를 한 가지 새로운 언어로 번역하고 해당 언어로 대체 코스 사이트를 생성하는 데는 약 $2,000 정도의 비용이 소요될 것입니다. It's opportunities like this and the powerful things that we're hearing from our affiliate groups that make me the most excited about our work in 2024. A far better pro-life future is in front of us. One where pro-life advocates around the world are all being trained simultaneously on how to use the most persuasive pro-life arguments that exist while using our unique dialogue approach. We need more financial support than we currently have, or else we'll be looking at cutting programs next year, not adding to them. Would you please prayerfully consider generously supporting our work to make that pro-life future a reality? I would be personally very grateful. Thank you so much.
Isn't that amazing? Okay, so a few things. First of all, when I first showed our staff an early version of that demo video, they were very, very skeptical, and maybe you are too. You probably ought to be, because we have all, or at least many of us, have had bad experiences with Google Translate, at least not being perfect. It's incredible, but it's not perfect. And so before we even decided to tell anyone about this, we wanted to get some tests and verification done first. And so we have friends who are native Spanish speakers and Danish speakers. And so we actually put 3 of our most complicated philosophical videos from the past through Spanish and Danish. And then we sent them to what we're calling our language partners that we have available to help us with figuring out, is this accurate? Is there any corrections that need to be made on screen or anything? But generally speaking, the response from both of them on all the videos for that is almost miraculous, that it is really, really good. It's not perfect. There's one video, I think, where like a couple of numbers got substituted, like a 2 and a 3 got substituted to a 3 and a 4 or something like that. But the kind of thing that could be fixed with like brackets and subtitles, or like one of those like little on-screen, asterisk, for a moment, like that kind of thing. But as far as how it sounds, the accent, the pronunciation, the lips, like, I don't know if you noticed, but it's not only cloning my voice, it was reanimating my mouth. Now, if you look carefully, and once you see this, you're not going to be able to unsee it, but I'll just let you know so that you don't think that you're the only one. It doesn't work super well with me because of my beard. The technology is not figured out how to animate my lips well without kind of having my beard like jump all over the place. And so that was a useful thing to figure out. But when we tried it with women, with people who don't have facial hair, it's like flawless. And those are most of the videos that we want to translate anyway, or videos that Emily or Rebecca are on video for. It's not going to be a bunch of me videos anyway. Now, when I made this video, I hadn't shared this with our staff. I really wanted them to get the surprise that you got. So since discussing with the staff, they had a really good idea that's not really reflected in the demo video because the idea came, days later. But we're not just thinking about courses. We actually might do even more good by putting some of our short form content in other languages. So think of the quick response videos. We have made right now 29 quick response videos. They are all like 5 minutes or less. I think most of them are 4 minutes or less. And give the best response that we can in a couple of minutes to most pro-choice arguments that are out there. And we've got the script under it. We've got them on the blog. If you ever want to go back, they're archived there. There's the script, there's the video. Everything is right there. Imagine us translating all of those into Spanish. Imagine being able to start posting these videos tagged as the language they're in. If we start putting out a bunch of Spanish TikTok videos that are labeled, like tagged, that TikTok knows are for people who speak Spanish, there is a really plausible chance that these go really viral. I don't think there's a lot of good professional pro-life content in other languages. And if pro-life people are going to be learning from anyone on apologetics, I want them to learn from us because we have seen, again, evidenced by what we've learned in Denmark and Ireland, that this approach can be so helpful for people around the world. So we're thinking about short form content too. Spanish and Danish are the first languages that we're going to be doing things in, but it doesn't have to be limited by those things either. And again, how much of this we do is going to depend on the funding that we have. It's amazing how inexpensive this product is for how incredible it is, even in this early beta version that we're using, but it's still more funding than we could just pay for because financially this year has been a hard year in the sense that because I've had to spend so much of my time not talking to potential new donors or being able to ask people to increase or connect us with someone that they know. I've not been able to do that nearly as often as I would like to be. And so we had a lot of months where our expenses were decently higher than the funding that we came in with. And we knew this was going to be an investment year, but we also really need our funding to increase for next year, especially if we're going to be adding these different expansions. Like we're ready to go. All these chess pieces are set for us to make a huge impact in 2024, in a really, really important time for pro-life people to be getting trained in how to deal with the most difficult conversations, because the most difficult conversations are happening right now. Roe being overturned still has a massive effect on the conversations that people are having and the openness from pro-choice people to even hearing from pro-life people. And there are complicated questions going on in the background, how to set up laws the best and how to, solve some of these problems that were kind of more academic before Roe was overturned. We're involved in some of those conversations, and we are intentionally being involved in some of those conversations, and will continue to be. We have thoughts about that. I will probably be sharing a lot more about that in the next couple of years, but we have ideas, and we're continuing to try to solve problems that we're seeing come up. We really need your help. There's a part of me that feels bad asking because I know a lot of the people watching this have been incredibly generous. And I'm so grateful for that. Knowing that our funding needs to increase sort of means that a couple of things have to happen. We need to find new donors, and we need at least some of our current donors to increase the generosity that they've already been showing. So if you know someone that you think could get excited about this work, please let me know. Reach out. I will be in touch with you. I will help make that connection. But there are people that we don't know that we ought to know. And you might know some of them. And I know that it might sound awkward. If you're even just open to it and you might know someone, reach out and let us talk about how we would do it in a not awkward, not weird way. We teach pro-life people to not be weird, and so we don't fundraise in weird ways either. We're really transparent and careful with that stuff too. So that's what we need to have happen, and we're hoping and praying that we see it happen in the next few months, that we see a lot of really cool blessings come in and open up these possibilities that we are dreaming of, that we are making plans for. If you have any questions about our work, please reach out. I will get in touch with you. I would be happy to jump on Zoom. I don't care who you are. I don't care how much or little you give. I would love to be in touch. I love answering questions about what we're doing or having sometimes these in-depth conversations with people about the abortion topic or politics or whatever is going on. So know that. There's going to be contact info at the bottom of the screen in the description. Please reach out. I love to talk. All that being said, this will be the last video that I make before Christmas. And so I want to wish you all a Merry Christmas, a very Merry Christmas, and know that I'm really grateful for you. I know this sounds cliche, but, around the Thanksgiving dinner table, at Christmas, the times when we're thinking more than we usually do about our blessings, our supporters are very high on that list for me. And that's because I live and breathe Equal Rights Institute. I care so much about what we're doing. I believe so much in what we're doing. I know the kind of impact that we can have. And when all the different things are happening that make those things possible, whether it's people, whether it's tools, whether it's funding, that's what makes me really excited and hopeful for the future. Know that regardless of how horrible politics gets, civil discourse is at a really low level, I still have hope. We don't yet know what it would look like if the pro-life movement were filled with people that were trained by us to lovingly, graciously change people's minds on abortion, even in a post-ops world. We don't know how good and effective the pro-life movement can get yet. And I am praying that you will help us to find out. Thank you so much.